Good morning, everybody. It's Monday morning, and gosh almighty, we have another month of this, but we can do this, right? We can do it. One more month to go. Hang in there. We're going to try our best to finish this up, okay? So first of all, if you have not finished Chapter 7 test, okay, it's super important to get that in. There's a video out there that even basically I walk you through it. If you watch the video, there's a good video that will help you with Chapter 7 test. I think it's called G for Geometry Test 7. Okay, look it up on YouTube and it will really help you out. Okay, next thing I want to talk about is that some of you are getting way behind, and the bummer is if you get way behind, I'm not sure exactly what we're going to do. Either take the class over again, that would suck, or maybe you have to just do those units you didn't do. But here's just a really quick glimpse of some of you that are not doing things. You've got to get it going. Another glimpse of fourth period. Some of you that are not getting stuff done. Okay, a lot of you are. So you got to get things in. I record these things. I'm going to put these in the grade book today so you can see it, and then I'm going to send out progress reports. Okay. So let's take a look today. So it's geometry, and let's go first straight to page 251 is what I want to do. Okay, if I go to 251 in my journal, then what I'm looking at is things called dilations. And dilations is just basically making something bigger or smaller. It doesn't really change the shape of the figure. Like, take a look at this triangle here. So we have, and let me color it in. You've got this little green triangle here, and then all of a sudden we're going to dilate it by boom, like you dilate your eyes and you make it bigger. Okay, so it goes from a little green triangle to becomes bigger. There's my red triangle. Okay, so we just made it bigger. So how much did we make it bigger by? Well, that's the scale factor. Okay, and the way to get the scale factor is you really have to just take the original length and the new length. So you've got the new length size. So to get the scale factor, you take the new length scale factor. You're going to take the new length, like that length there, and we're simply going to divide it by the old length. That's what this says. It says scale factor, they like K, alright, whatever. And then you can see C to C prime, that's called prime. C prime, that little dash there, called prime. So when I talk about it, that's my image, my pre-image, and my image. Okay, so my pre-image is before we pop it out. Okay, so this little dash right here is, we'll call it prime. So we'll go from P, which is our original, to P prime, which is our image. Okay, so angles are preserved simply because the shape does not change. Okay, it gets bigger or it could get smaller, but it doesn't change. Okay, so let's take a look at some easy examples. All right, this is an easy day today. Don't think anybody's going to have a hard time with this. I'm going to put down my notes. So let me take a look. So if I take a look at this one, it says find the scale factor and then tell whether it's a reduction or enlargement. That's easy. So here's P and here's P prime. So we go from this little rectangle, because that's P, to the bigger rectangle. Okay, so it just got popped out. So by how much? Okay, what's our scale factor? Alright, well, it went from 9 to 27. So how much bigger did it go? 27 over 9, which is 3, right? That's all we did. It went from 9 to 27, so it went up a factor of 3. Okay, number 2. Now number 2, if I take a look at number 2, it's just the opposite, because here's P and here's P prime. I don't know if you guys can see that. I'll make it darker. But that's P prime. So we went from big trapezoid down to little trapezoid. So it's a reduction, right? It's definitely a reduction. So by how much? What's my scale factor? Well, let's see if we can figure this out. So we're going to go, we went from 10 to 4. So remember, it's the new length, that's my 4, over the original, which is 10. So if I reduce that to 2/5, or we can even call it by a factor of 0.4. Okay, so it shrunk So it's a reduction, okay? All right, number 4. Now, I don't know if you guys have a ruler at home or not, but if it asks you to do this, then we're going to go ahead and have to use a ruler. So center P, here's P, and here's a quadrilateral A, B, C, D. If K is 1/2, it's obviously, whoops, you can't see that. If K is 1/2, then obviously it's going to get smaller, okay? So I'm going to use my ruler, and I'm literally going to measure some things. Now, okay, where did I put my ruler? I did bring it out here. There's my ruler. There it is. Got my ruler. So if I measure, and watch how I do this. So, and I like centimeters, so much easier. That's about 3, okay? So 3 centimeters. I'm going to take half of that. It's going to go to 1.5. So I go from P to A. Now I'm going to go P to A prime. I just took half that length because my scale factor is 1/2. So this becomes A prime. Okay. Let's measure PB. Okay, PB is going to be, all right, this is easy to do. I go from 1 to about 4. Well, about 3.8. So we'll half of 3.8. So it's a 2 about 1.9. So we go from P to B. Half of that, because we want a scale factor of 1/2. Half of that would be to go to about 1.9 is right about there. So it's B prime. And then P to C, point C is about the same, about 3.8. So P to C is about 3.8. So we take half of that, about 1.9. So that's C prime. And then finally, last one, I'm going to go D. It's about 2. Remember, a scale factor of 1/2, so I'm going to go to 1. So instead of going from P to D, I go P to D prime. And I'm going to actually draw in my new figure, which is what I want you to do. So I draw my new figure. So here's my new quadrilateral. And this is the reduced figure by 1/2. Pretty easy. Yeah. There we go. You can do this. If you don't have a ruler, well, try your best to try and figure it out, okay, on the homework. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, let's do a graph. Okay, so in a graph, let's do number 6. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at doing number 6. So on number 6, shift this to here so you guys can see it. I'm going to graph these points, okay? So let me go ahead and get my ruler, and I'm going to try and put these points on my XY plane. Okay, this is actually a pretty easy lesson. I have faith you guys can do it. I do. So, just have to give it a try, right? Remember, I always say just try, especially during this time, because if you're trying, I think you're finding out that it's pretty easy. If you just do the work, and I keep trying, I continue to help out as much as I can. Okay, so P, here's what I've got. P is at 1, 2. So 1, 2, there's P. Q is at 2, 2. There's Q. R is at 4, negative 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Negative 2 is R. And then S is at negative 1, negative 3. There's S. Okay, let me draw in my figure. It's kind of a funny looking quadrilateral. It's not really even a parallelogram or anything, right? It's not a trapezoid. It's just basically quadrilateral. So, what do I need to do? Well, I'm going to enlarge it by how much though? It says K is 2. Okay, so I'm going to write that down. So let's enlarge it by a scale factor of 2. Alright, now, here's the easy part. We are going to simply take all of these points and double them. We don't need a ruler. We're just going to double all of these points. So we're going to multiply all these points by 2. We're going to double. So we're going to times by 2 all of these points. So now, what we're going to get is P prime is going to be 2, 4. Q prime is going to be 4, 4. R prime is going to be 8, negative 4. S prime is going to be negative 2, negative 6. All right, so if that's the case, let's go ahead and draw that in. So I'm going to go ahead and go 2, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, and call that P prime. I'm going to go 4, 4. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's Q prime. I'm going to go to 8, negative 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my R prime. Then finally I'll go to negative 2, negative 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And there's my S prime. Okay, let me draw my new figure. It should look twice as big as it is. Scale factor of 2. And the easiest way to do it was just to multiply every single coordinate by 2, because that was my scale factor. Okay, pretty easy day, huh? So I don't think you're going to have a whole lot of trouble with this. It's an easy chapter. Homework, let's take a look at it, is page 252, 1 through 9. Okay, I'm going to look at that real quickly. And again, if you are not done, get things done. And I have got some correcting to do this weekend. It was my birthday this weekend, so I didn't correct any tests. I turned the big 6-0, so we celebrated. So that's why your tests haven't been corrected yet, but they'll be done today, okay? Anyway, back to this 252. I work on the weekends most time, but this time I decided not to work on the weekend. Anyway, back to homework, okay? Here we go. So, can you figure out, then they show P prime, can you figure out what the scale factor is? That's easy. Can you find out what the scale factor is? Can you, and tell whether it's a reduction or enlargement, okay? 4, you're going to graph it, scale factor of 2, okay? You can see on these the same thing, factor. On 6, 7, use your own graph paper, okay? That really helps. And then 8, 9, and that's it for today, okay? So send me your homework. We're starting chapter 8, and I will get everything complete, and I will get homework in the gradebook, okay?